Hello, everybody. This is going to be one of our last two lessons on nature, the theme of nature. And if you recall last week, we talked about how just one single individual can create change. And so for these final two lessons in nature, that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to tell you about two people, a person each week, about an individual who has done that, who has really created a huge amount of change just by doing little things themselves. So today I'm going to show an example of how one woman made a huge difference for her community and other communities across Kenya, and by planting trees. And her name is Wangari Maathai. She was a Nobel Prize winner in 2014, and she started the Green Belt movement in Kenya. And she said, in her words, "It's the little things citizens do. That's what will make the difference. My little thing is planting trees." So here is how she got started with that. When Wangari Maathai was a little girl growing up in central Kenya and Africa, the land was green, the streams were full, and trees grew thick and lush. To help her family with meals, Wangari gathered firewood from the trees around her village. On her first day gathering, her mother told her, "Don't collect any firewood from a fig tree." Wangari asked, "Why not?" Her mother answered, "That is the tree of God. We don't cut it, we don't burn it, we don't use it at all." And so Wangari was careful, along with the rest of the village, to let the fig trees live a good long time. She didn't know it then, but the roots of the strong tree helped water come to the surface from deep below the earth. Until they fell to the ground naturally of old age, the fig trees helped the Kenyan soil stay rich and alive. Wangari was a smart girl and worked very hard in school. When she grew up, she went to America to study biology in college. But when Wangari returned 6 years later, Kenya had changed. Many trees had been cut to make way for new buildings and large coffee and tea plantations. In some places, the land was bare and the streams had dried up. Even the fig trees had been cut. And no one had thought to put in new trees. Kenya was becoming a desert. That was hard for the birds, the insects, and many other animals. And it was also hard for the people. Soon Wangari was hearing from the women of Kenya that many people did not have enough to eat. Clean water was hard to find, and so was firewood for cooking. Wangari listened to the women who spoke to her, and she began to get an idea. Wangari's idea to help everything was to plant trees. She planted small seedling trees in her own backyard, right in the city. When she saw the trees go strong and green, she taught the women in her village to plant trees and gave them seedlings to plant. When other women saw the village turn green again, they wanted to plant trees too. Soon Wangari started a nursery and gave tree seedlings to women all over Kenya. She paid the money for each tree planted and kept alive, which helped them to buy food. Some people laughed and said that women could not plant trees, but more and more women planted trees, and dried brown land in Kenya turned soft and green again. But the cutting of trees continued. Wangari tried to protect the trees and told the tree cutters to stop. She did not believe so much building was needed, but powerful people disagreed. Wangari was arrested and went to jail for what she believed in. But others continued to plant trees and protect those that were still alive. Eventually, Wangari was released from jail. As more trees were planted, the desert was pushed away and the land came back to life. Streams flowed once more. The soil became rich and healthy again. More and more people helped plant trees. By 2014, when Wangari won the Nobel Peace, 2004, when Wangari won the Nobel Peace Prize, more than 30 million trees had been planted, and Kenya was green again. So I was lucky enough to be able to meet Wangari in 2007, a few years after she won the Nobel Prize, and I got her book, which was wonderful, and she signed it for me. And I was after hearing, she did the keynote speech she talked to people at a conference I was at, and she was just an amazing woman But think about how she started, right? She just planted a couple of trees in her backyard. And then she planted more trees. And then she told other people, hey, women who the men were saying, what are you doing planting trees? But the woman said, hey, this is going to help feed our families because we need the water that the tree roots will help keep in place, and we need the wood from the trees, and this is gonna help our families. So she engaged all these other women to help her plant trees until over 30 million trees were planted. And it's called the Green Belt Movement. There's now a university in Kenya that I'm blanking on what it's called, but that is about helping the environment. And she was just one person, and she started so much. It was amazing, and she made this huge change. So it's pretty amazing what she did. And unfortunately, she passed away of cancer in 2011. But I am so pleased that I had the chance to meet her, and I encourage you to find out more about her and just use her for inspiration. Just shows you what just one person can do. So your activity, I have an activity for you this week, but it's really easy, and I think you're going to like it. Your activity, since this is our last, this will be our last lesson about trees. So to celebrate that and to celebrate all that trees are, I want you to go climb a tree. I'm going to do this too. There's this beautiful maple tree in the field next to where I'm camping out this summer that is just gorgeous. It's just like this classic tree of what a tree should look like. It's got all these big limbs, and all summer I've been meaning to climb it and I haven't yet. So I am going to climb that tree. I want you guys to go climb a tree, and even you adults that are able, you go climb a tree too. And I bet you'll have fun. So that's all for this week. Have a great week. Have a great week. Stay kind and be safe. Bye.